You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 1st, 2024 meeting of the Long Beach Police Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, August 1st, 2024. This is the quarterly Police Commission meeting for the town of Long Beach. Present at today's meeting, I'll do roll call myself, Chief Mark Swistek, John Coker. Here. Brent Solar. Here. Shannon Wojcik. Present. Wonderful. We have a quorum. Before we get into the agenda, I would like to congratulate and welcome our newest police commissioner, Brent Solar. Brent earlier this year was selected by our town council to join this commission, and we appreciate his volunteerism to the town and for everything that he does, not only as a town employee, but now as his role as a police commissioner. So welcome. Thank you. Under old business, I have one thing, that is the new public safety facility update. We have received several generous donations in the recent month to outfit that particular building, the fitness center inside of the public safety building, with the necessary fitness equipment for both the police and fire department. In total, just this week alone, we received another $4,000 in donations. We're up to about $40,000 in-kind donations that have been donated to the town towards the fitness equipment for that facility. The equipment is scheduled to arrive in the month of September. It will be a very nice facility when completed. And we also have a resident, Mr. James North, who has been very generous in donating the labor and the materials to put one entire wall of mirrors in the fitness center. And then he's also paying to have artwork and some decals done in the room itself. And he's taking on all that responsibility himself. To include, he made a generous donation in the last week to the overall fitness equipment. So a lot of people have donated. I want to thank everybody that has donated. Many of the donors wanted to remain anonymous. The ones that have donated, I've sent letters from my office to each of them, personally thanking them for the donation to both the town and the police and fire departments. So it's just nice to see the generous outpouring of support from the community. The building itself, back on June 6th, we had the open house. It went exceptionally well, was attended very, very well. A lot of positive feedback from the open house. Again, we'd like to thank Long Beach resident Britt Whitfield for her donation of the catering services from Line Blank Catering, which is her catering company that provided the meal and the catering staff that evening for the event. And again, it was an excellent event, well attended, and we received a lot of positive feedback. So, and then in closing, the building, as you all know, is fully functional. It meets our needs. This past July 4th holiday, it was great to have that facility. It was used throughout that entire week for all of our operations for both police and fire. So we're very grateful to the town council and the leadership for everybody's support making that happen. So, any questions on the new public safety facility?
What's the status on the sewer? Is it finally coming along?
Great question. I just emailed Soil Solutions this morning, and Patrick Hodges and I were corresponding with the state of Indiana. The Department of Health had requested 2 letters from the town. One letter from our street superintendent indicating that we would allow the sanitary sewer line to cross under Oriole Trail. That has been completed and was sent off last week. And then they requested a second letter of the inspection of the sanitary sewer line that was put in during the construction of the building. That was sent in by our building commissioner last week. I've been told that the state engineer has completed their work. It is now on the supervisor's desk, and I should have final word from the state in 2 to 3 weeks. So I hope to update everybody at the August 12th town council meeting. I would love to have our permit in hand for the August 12th meeting, but I'll have more information for August. Any other questions on the public safety bill? All right. Under new business, I just wanted to update everybody on our newly hired deputy marshals. Both Deputy Matthew Vopat and Deputy Matthew Disbro have done an exceptional job since their hiring in the first quarter of this year. For example, confidentially, the call I just shared with you that I just came from, Deputy Vopat was at that call with me. He performed exceptional, shows a very caring attitude, very compassionate, and I could not be more pleased with both of the new deputies that we have hired. They've both done an exceptional job. We've also received compliments since their hiring from community members about their overall community policing. So we thank them for that. And then just a little side note, Deputy Disbro is managing our Marine unit currently. He will be out all weekend with our police boat. As you know, it's the Super Powerboat Grand Prix this weekend, so he'll be out on the lakefront. And then Deputy Vopat is managing the medical crisis intervention needs of the department. Both deputies are self-starters, they're highly motivated, and they're exceptional young men. So they were two great hires for the town. Any questions on our new deputies? Letter of commendation. In your packet today, there's a letter of commendation that Deputy Matthew Disbro received back on the 8th day of July. I just wanted to share that with all of you. It was when he responded off duty on his way home. He assisted the Trail Creek Police Department where he had administered Narcan and additional medical aid to an individual that was in distress from an overdose. His work was exceptional that day, was recognized and received a letter of commendation for that. Any questions on the letter of commendation? All right, Deputy Mitchell Seitz, he was promoted earlier this year to the Chief Deputy Marshal position upon the retirement of Sergeant James Schooley. This promotion for Deputy Seitz is to that of the rank of Chief Deputy Marshal, which is also our sergeant's rank. Essentially what that is, that's the second person in charge of the police department. So in my absence, that would be the individual in charge of our department. Since April, he has assumed the responsibilities and is doing an exceptional job managing the patrol operations. And in fact, I've received feedback from our other deputies and from our reserve deputies that they've been very pleased on how he has managed his new responsibilities. Any questions on Sergeant Seitz? All right, next is we have a request before you today to approve a job description for our training commander. Deputy Marshal Matthew Farthing was promoted to the supervisory rank of corporal and has assumed the position of our training division commander for the department. This was at the same time when Deputy Seitz was promoted, so back in April. The job description that was provided to you last week and is also before you today, it has been shared with the full town council. At our last town council meeting back on July 8th, I believe it was, they had asked that the job description come before this commission, seeking your approval and acknowledgement. And then I would return the job description back to the town council for their approval on Monday, August 12th. Previously, we had a training division coordinator, but it was not that of a supervisory rank. We've since changed the responsibilities for that position. That position also assumes some of the responsibilities that were previously held by Sergeant James Schooley, who is now retired. So some of the work that was done by the chief deputy previously has now been shuffled over to the corporal, the training division commander. So not only does he have responsibilities within the training division, he also has the supervisory responsibility in the patrol division. In the absence of Sergeant Seitz, he will coordinate the patrol operations for the department. And also he is the assigned coordinator for our reserve deputy marshal unit, where he oversees 5 deputies, oversees their supervision, their schedule, their training needs, their equipment needs. So it's a pretty vast responsibility. So I wanted to get the opinion of the commissioners and ask respectfully that we move the job description to the town council for final approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question on what training will this position continue to gain that gives them the advantage to train others and oversee others? Will they be required, because I'm not in the job description that would say they have to hold so many training hours a year themselves in order to qualify?
Great question. So one, the individual has to maintain a minimum of 24 hours of minimal training a year just to maintain their law enforcement certification. In addition to that, Corporal Farthing was sent in January of this year to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, where we had him certified as a state certified instructor. As a state certified instructor, he is required by the state standards that are set in their policies and procedures that he must maintain a certain number of training hours a year where he is training other individuals and is reporting his training back to the academy. So he will handle our in-house training for us annually, which will be a minimum of 24 hours of training that he will be providing to us. And then in addition to that, he will be also executing other training sessions. For example, next month, middle of September, he will be returning to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy for 1 day. He will be going through pre-qualification to become a state certified firearms instructor, which would mean that he could then go on to a firing range with us, could instruct us on a firing range, and we could get state academy credit hours for our training. Right now, if we go to the firing range without a state certified instructor, we cannot turn that in for certified training hours. Previously, we had a deputy who was certified in that field. We currently do not, but in September, Corporal Farthing will be going to the academy. He has to meet their standards on the 1 day qualification, and then he'll have to return to the academy for a 1 week certification course. We also recently sent him away for a week-long SFST training to be certified, which is standard field sobriety training, which is in relationship to operating motor vehicle while intoxicated. So he just got certified in that as well. He's a state certified DRE, drug recognition expert. And then we're also looking at sending him away for defensive tactics training, where he could then train not only our officers, but other officers in the state of Indiana on the hand-to-hand combat, use of force, defensive tactics, things of that nature. So he'll be going through annual training every single year.
So if I could ask, because he is absolutely qualified based on everything you shared, but this job description, yes, is for him, but if he were to leave, it doesn't define who comes into his place next. Is there a way we could put a minimum of hours that they have to attend and then a minimum of hours they deliver to hold such a position? Therefore, like in a job review, you could say you completed your 24 hours of self-certification and you've delivered 8 hours of training certification, and you can say, yes, both of those were completed in this annual review or mid-year review, whatever it might be.
So I believe we addressed that under the education and experience section. When you turn to page 4, the very top line, the person must possess a certification in law enforcement training or some other relevant law enforcement credentials preferred. And then the second line, successfully complete the certified instructor development course with the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. So that covers this individual has to be a state certified instructor to fall into this job classification. Because if the individual does not have that, any training